ideas of the world which are built into the very nature of the language we use and of our ideas of logic and of what makes sense altogether. And these basic ideas I call myth, not using the word myth to mean simply something untrue, but to use the word myth in a more powerful sense. A myth is an image in terms of which we try to make sense of the world. Now, for example, a myth in a way is a metaphor. If you want to explain electricity to someone who doesn't know anything about electricity, you say, well, you talk about an electric current. Now, the word current is borrowed from rivers. It's borrowed from hydraulics. And so you explain electricity in terms of water. Now, electricity is not water. It behaves actually in a different way, but there are some ways in which the behavior of water is like the behavior of electricity. And so you explain it in terms of water. Or if you're an astronomer and you want to...
Image, a representation of the external form of a person or thing. The general impression that a person, organization, or product presents to the public. A point or set formed by mapping from another point or set. An optical appearance or counterpart produced by light or other radiation from an object reflected in a mirror or refracted through a lens. This is a representation of the image of the beast. This is in Tel Aviv. I've discussed this many times before. Now, with the mark of the beast, okay, most believers believe that the mark of the beast is something that people will have to take in order to buy or sell goods and spend money, right? But the buying and the selling that is talking about in Revelation chapter 13, it's riddles. The Most High says that he speaks in riddles and parables. This is how he proves you, he judges you. He says that the word judges you, okay? What he's talking about when it comes to buying and selling, it's the same as the gold and the silver, the refining, right? Anyone who's selling the word of the Most High, and that's what it is, they don't have to be on the corner or at a store selling books, which they do. But what it's talking about is anyone who preachers, pastors, churches, these organizations that handle the sword, they handle the word, they do it for gain. And the only people who will be doing that bear the mark of the beast. Those who would never sell the word like that, they're not in it for any personal greedy gain. They're diligently searching it, and they're hungry and thirsty for the word, and they share it with their brethren, with their beloved, their brothers and sisters. They aren't doing it for a price, a material, greedy gain price. You understand? So I'm going to read chapter 63, part of chapter 63 and 64 of Isaiah, which is going to explain this perfectly to us. Isaiah 63, chapter 63, verse 17. O Yahuwah, why do you make us stray from your ways and harden our heart from your fear? Turn back for the sake of your servants, the tribes of your inheritance. For a little while your set-apart people possessed it. Our adversaries have trodden down your set-apart place. Now, I need you to understand, it's going to be hard for most people to fathom that the mark has nothing to do with money. It does, but it's not the way we've thought it was. It's not that you have to take a tattoo or a chip in order to buy things at the store. This is talking about the word of the Most High. This is talking about the ways, learning the ways of the Most High in order to be his children. It's the wheat and the tares, okay? It's the wheat and the chaff. It's who will be destroyed and who will not be destroyed. And it has everything to do with his set-apart place. It has everything to do with his children and our comely home. We have become like those over whom you never ruled. Your name is not called on them. Your name is not called on them. Oh, that you would tear the heavens open. Come down, that mountains shall shake before you. As when fire burns twigs, as fire makes water boil, to make your name known to your adversaries, so that nations tremble before you. When you did awesome matters which we did not expect, you came down, mountains did shake before you. And that's another thing right there when it says matters which we did not expect. That's one thing we need to understand, that these things that are happening now in these end times and what will happen tomorrow, they're going to be things that you do not expect, especially if you're not reading the word. The world expects that they would take a RFID chip, that people are going to take that in order to buy and sell. There's a reason he said that he speaks in riddles. Since the beginning of the ages, they have not heard nor perceived by the ear, nor has the eye seen any mighty Most High beside you, who acts for those who wait for him. You shall meet him who rejoices and does righteousness, who remembers you in your ways. See, you were wroth when we sinned in them a long time, and should we be saved? And all of us have become as one unclean, and all our righteousnesses are as soiled rags. And all of us fade like a leaf, and our crookednesses, like the wind, have taken us away. Taken us away. Anyone who's being taken away bears the mark. And we're going to go to Revelations, and we're going to break this down as much as possible so we get a good understanding what it means to bear the mark and what it means to bear the seal of the Most High Yahuwah. And there is one who calls on your name, who stirs himself up, to be strengthened in you. For you have hidden your face from us, and there is no one who calls on your name, who stirs himself up to be strengthened in you. For you have hidden your face from us and have consumed us because of our crookednesses. And now, O Yahuwah, you are our Father. We are the clay, and you our potter, and we are all the work of your hand. And that's huge too. And if you were to listen to that video, and that guy, that's Alan Watts, I'm sure you heard of him. That's the first time I've ever listened to any of his videos. And I'll tell you how it happened. A little bit ago, I was listening to my video on All Honor, titled The Secret Is Out. And when it ended, I was away from my phone, and that just started to play. And I thought it was pretty neat how he was talking about an image being a myth. And later on in that video, I only listened to like another 5 minutes of it, but he goes on to talk about the potter and the clay. And if you think about it, like the Most High, if we're the clay in his hands, and that's the reason on Leave the World Behind, the movie Leave the World Behind, the husband's name's Clay and the wife's name's Amanda. That's why they're named that. If you think about us being clay on the potter's wheel, right? The Most High molds us into the image that he wants us to be. That's why we are created in the likeness and the image of the Most High, as he wants us to be, as he's chosen for us. But a lot of the majority of the world, they refuse to be made into that likeness, into that image. And the enemy has taken something and he's made an image the way he wants it, and he's made the world perceive it the way he wants it to be perceived. And now, O Yahuwah, you are our Father. We are the clay, and you our potter, and we are all the work of your hand. Do not be wroth, O Yahuwah, nor remember crookedness forever. See, please look, all of us are your people. Your set-apart cities have become a wilderness. Sion has become a wilderness, Yerushalayim a waste. Our set-apart and comely house, where our fathers praised you, has been burned up with fire, and all that we treasured has become a ruin. In view of all this, would you restrain yourself, O Yahuwah? Would you keep silent and afflict us beyond measure? I have let myself be inquired of, not by those who ask. I was found not by those who sought me. I said, here I am to a nation not calling on my name. And that's what he did he not? When you began to turn and come back to Yahuwah, were you calling on his name? No. But there were people that before us that were calling on his name, or so they said, that they refused to hear him. We answered the call. I have held out my hands all day long to a stubborn people who walk in a way that is not good, after their own thoughts. And that's verse 2 right there. That's huge in understanding the concept and understanding what the image is and what the mark is. It's all about walking after our own thoughts and ways, which is not good, or walking after in his ways, the way in what he delights and what he has prescribed here in his word. The people who provoked me continually to my face, who slaughter in gardens, and burn incense on slaughter places of brick, who sit among the burial sites and spend the night in secret places, who eat flesh of pigs, and the broth of unclean meat is in their pots, who say, keep to yourself. They're saying this to Abba. Whoever's walking after their own thoughts, they say, not literally, but they do. They say to Abba, they say, keep to yourself. Do not come near me, for I am set apart to you. These are smoke in my nostrils, a fire that burns all day. See, it is written before me, I am not silent, but shall repay, and I shall repay into their bosom your crookednesses and the crookednesses of your fathers together, said Yahuwah, who burned incense on the mountains and reproached me on the hills. And I shall measure their former work into their bosom. Thus said Yahuwah, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one shall say, do not destroy it, for there is blessing in it, so I do for my servant's sake not to destroy them all. That's the reason these myths are still here. That's the reason why the belief of so many still exists today, because he calls us out of that. But if he destroyed it, he would have had to destroy everyone, because the world went after their own thoughts and their own ways, which is the new wine. And I shall bring forth a seed from Jacob and from Yehuda, an heir of my mountains. And my chosen one shall inherit it, and my servants dwell there. And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks. I've been talking about that mountain, Lone Peak. And on the back of it, there's two peaks called Twins Peaks. I've showed the pictures. It looks like a throne. Right to the south of that is Sharon. That town I told you where all the rich people live, it's right. That town, that village is Sharon. And the valley of Achor, a place for herds to lie down, and for my people who have sought me. And that's so big. We're not going to get into that tonight, but that's so big. I've been telling you that I found something that's amazing. And hopefully soon I'll break it down and show you we'll go to like Google Maps, and I'll show you the pictures of all the names of the trails and everything that's around that, and it will blow your mind. But like I said, I don't know. I'm still not sure about putting it on here, because I still have yet to I've only found one person who actually is considering even looking in this direction when it comes to that, when it comes to coming home. So the only way I think that I would really break that down is if there are actual people hungry and they're seeing the truth of this. And speaking of which, something dawned on me too today, that maybe now that the shame and the nakedness of Israel, the way it's being exposed right now, maybe now because of ever since October 7th happened and up until this point, maybe now sincere and genuine believers who are actually sincere and genuine, that are seeing what that place is and what them people are doing, and they start to get a sense of what's been going on, and they start to make the connections between it and the image of the beast. Maybe now they'll begin to look in this direction, and they will start to see that, yes, the set apart mountains, it's everything. It's huge. If you want to be in the family, if you want to live, only the family is going to live. And it's funny, in the definition of myth, there's an example in there that says that racial superiority supremacy is a myth, and it is. And this isn't about the Most High isn't calling people of a certain skin color or ethnicity. He's calling everyone. We just read it. Everyone gets called. The family are those who show up, just like the wedding supper. They're those who answered the invite to the wedding, and they actually show up for the wedding. They come down the aisle. But you are those who forsake me. Wait. Okay. Herds lie down for my people who have sought me. There you go. But you are those who forsake Yahuwah, who forget my set apart mountain, who prepare a table for Gad, and who fill a drink offering for many. So let's look at this, a couple other translations, and you can see down here it says, who spread a table for fortune. That's the mark of the beast. That's what that's talking about, buying and selling. Anyone who's truly hungry and they're diligently searching the word because they want to be a member of the Most High family. They want to be his. They want to be his child. They want to live in his presence. Money is not going to be part of the equation. The fortune is not a part. It can't be of the equation. If you prepare a table, if you provide the word for people, but it is based on your income, and money and fortune and building buildings and houses and paying the lights and all that, that's the mark of the beast. Those people have the mark of the beast. That's not the mark of the beast, but the people that do that will have the mark of the beast. But you'll see that what separates the mark of the beast between those who have the seal of the Most High is the people who love the Most High, and that is their thought, that's their delight, that's where their heart is. Those are the people who have the seal of the Most High on their forehead. And anyone else has the mark of the beast, and the beast has caused that to come about. And I'm going to show you a lot, so just sit tight. But you can see, for money, for destiny, it's for money, and it's for the fortune and the fame. So, but you are those who forsake Yahuwah, who forget my set-apart mountain. So, doing it for the money, having the mark of the beast, it's all about, it goes hand in hand with forgetting his set-apart mountain. Because look, if there's not going to be two groups or three groups or four groups, however many groups of people that are going to die, that aren't going to make it. There's going to be a group of people that don't make it and a group of people that do. So, and the people that do are those who haven't forgot his set-apart mountain. It's easy. It comes down to that. If you haven't forgotten his set-apart mountain, you're not okay with the humiliation of it and the fact that that the enemy is lying about it, that he's tricking the world into believing that the set-apart mountain is something else. And that picture of the upside down triangle in the pond, of the triangle aiming down, and you see the reflection in the water aiming up. The triangle represents the mountain. So it's an image. It's the counterpart. It's an image portrayed about the mountain and about the people, about the house, that's false. Yeah, that's why that's what the yin and yang symbol means. One's light, one's dark. That's why they have the black and white checkered floor in the Masonic, in their floors. It's black and white checkered, like on chess. Just think about chess, and I love playing chess. But think about chess. It's about that there's a king and a queen over here, and a king and a queen over there. One's light, one's white, and one's dark. One's righteous, and one is filthy. And I shall allot you to the sword. So whoever forgets his set-apart mountain and they refuse to acknowledge it, see, you can't be a member. I've went over this so many times. You can't be a member of a family but not care nothing about that family and that house, nothing about it. It's just common sense. So if you want to be a member of the family, you got to come home. You got to be there at dinner time. You got to do what you're supposed to do, your chores, whatever. And let the Most High enjoy you as a son or a daughter. If you're not there, you're not a son or a daughter. The world, the enemy with the image of the beast, he's convinced the world, the big portion of the world, that they are a member of the family. They're a son or a daughter, but they ain't got to care about the house and about coming home and all that. But that's wrong. It's common sense. And they're allotted to the sword. The sword is his word. It's judging you. If you don't come home and you never turn back from those ways, you're going to be destroyed. And let you bow down to the slaughter. There you go, to the slaughter. Because I called and you did not answer. I spoke and you did not hear, and you did evil before my eyes. And what? And chose that in which I did not delight. There's only one choice that he delights, and that you be a son or a daughter, and you're there at dinner time. You're there in the house, and you love the house. The inheritance that he gave you, you accept it. The difference between sons is Esau and Jacob. Okay, Esau, he was out hunting, and he didn't care nothing about his inheritance. He was willing to trade it for a bowl of slop. Jacob, on the other hand, it might have been dirty what he did, to get it, but he wanted that inheritance, and it meant more to him than anything. He was willing to do what he did to get it. And that's why he says, Jacob he loves, but Esau he hates. And it's simple. Our righteousness is dirty rags. Nobody's getting in on how good you've been or how, or it's not going to come down to how righteous you are, because we all are like dirty rags. Our righteousness is. What it comes down to is, do you want the inheritance that the Most High gave you? Then you have to take it. You have to come get it. And it's here waiting for you. And anything else, is the Most High don't delight in it. I mean, it's common sense. How could he? If he says, here's your inheritance, how's he going to delight in you if you're on the other side of the world or whatever and refusing it? He's not going to delight in that. And that's what the slaughter is. Anyone outside, that's why it says in Revelations, the winepress is trodden down outside the city. And I don't have a lot of time tonight, so I encourage you to go back through my videos on All Honor and here on All Esteem. Go back through them for the last 6 months. And listen to what I'm saying. Not for my sake. Don't like or share or subscribe. I mean, you can, by all means, because it's for our brethren. It's for our family. I'm not asking you to like, share, or subscribe so I can get a following or I can become anything. I'm encouraging you to go listen to it because I don't have a lot of time tonight. But all those videos are packed with information. So I encourage you, go back and listen to it and watch those videos and pay attention. Therefore, thus said the Master Yahuwah, see my servants eat, but you hunger. See my servants drink, but you thirst. See my servants rejoice, but you are put to shame. And that's what it's talking. That's how you know. That's what he was talking about when he said you prepare a table for Gad and for money, for fortune and the fame, destiny. The bread, a man lives by the words that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. That's the bread. That's the word. That's why the Messiah said that's his body, because he's the word. And we drink. If those who are thirsty, he says, whoever thirsts, come and drink from the fountains of life without payment, without cost. All you got to do is desire. And if you're doing it and you have to have offerings brought to you and you got to have a building, you got to do this, you got to do that, you're not thirsting and you're desiring. You're doing it. You're preparing a table for Gad. My servants drink, but you thirst. See, my servants rejoice, but you are put to shame. See, my servants sing for joy of heart, but you cry for sorrow of heart and wail for breaking of spirit. And you shall leave your name as a curse to my chosen, for the Master Yahuwah shall put you to death and call his servants by another name. There you go. It's are you a servant or who's your servant? You can only serve one master. You can't be in it for the fortune and the fame and be serving the Most High at the same time. Because the only way to serve the Most High is you got to do like Messiah did. He left. He left his home. He picked up his stake. He gave it all up. Just like he was asking Peter and them to do in the boat. He said, come with me. They were there fishing, trying to make $1 or whatever they were doing. He said, come with me and I'll make you fishers of men. They had to get out of the boat. They had to pick up their stake. Now, whether they did or not, that's a different story, but that's what you have to do. That's why he said, if you don't pick up your stake, you're not fit for the reign. You're not coming. It's plain and simple. So you have to be a servant of his. So that he blesses himself in the earth. So that he who blesses himself in the earth does bless himself in the Most High of truth. Now, why do you think it says that? See, the Most High, he placed every word. He strategically placed each word. And every one of them is calculated and time precise. And they're there for a reason. Every word is necessary. You have to eat every word and drink the word in. You have to. He who blesses himself in the earth, that means how you bless yourself is when you come home. And the reason it says, and he blesses himself in the Most High of truth, because there is an image of Yerushalayim that's been portrayed onto the world that the world thinks is the way, but it's not. So the only way you're going to bless yourself and live is you have to take your inheritance. You have to lament the humiliation of it and your city, your comely home. You have to turn back from that. And it has to disgust you. The humiliation of it has to disgust you, and you have to dig for the truth, find the truth of it. Once you see the truth, you have to come home. And he who swears in the earth does swear by the Most High of truth, because the former distresses shall be forgotten, and because they shall be hidden from my eyes. There's more proof that lets you know that the distresses, it's directly, he's talking about the hiding of the land. That's why he says, he who blesses himself in the earth blesses himself in the Most High of truth. The distresses, when you read about the distresses, the former distresses, that's talking about how his children got kicked. He kicked them out of the land, and he destroyed the land, and done it so bad, humiliated it so bad that the world now thinks it's somewhere else, and that it's the opposite, the polar opposite, like that yin and yang. That's the other side of the earth, with people who are opposite of his children. And I mean, the list goes on. It's distresses. And those will be forgotten, and because they shall be hidden from my eyes. For look, I am creating new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come to heart. Now, he's not going to create a new world and a new heaven. He's bringing you the truth of your home, and it's going to be anew to you. And this is why, like in these Marvel stories and stuff, they call it like the third earth or the third sanctuary, because the first one was, we came home when he brought us out of the land of Egypt, and David set up his house and everything, right? That's Earth 1. And now Earth 2 is the one we're living in right now, where everyone believes it's somewhere else, or they just don't even care altogether about it. But the third Earth, the new Earth, is going to be when you come home and take your inheritance. But be glad and rejoice forever in what I create. For look, I create Yerushalayim a rejoicing, and her people a joy. That's the new earth and the new heavens. He's going to create Yerushalayim a rejoicing. There's no one doing it other than myself that I know of in this earth. And I mean, I'm not saying there ain't other people, but I'm not aware of them. And the new earth is when his children come home, and everyone left on earth rejoices in it. That's the new earth. You know, the world as we know it, right? That's what he's talking about. This is figures of speech, metaphors, but, you know, it's all about coming home. He's not literally, he doesn't have another world up in space or wherever, and he's going to bring it down and park it on here. Or he's going to take us up, destroy this one, and place us on a new one. That's not how this works. It's going to be new, but the ground, the rocks, it's going to be the same. But it's going to be a rejoicing now, and her people a joy. And I shall rejoice in Yerushalayim, and shall joy in my people, and let the voice of weeping no more be heard in her, nor the voice of crying. No more is an infant from there going to live but a few days. An infant. The Messiah said, you know, when he was telling the parable about sowing the seeds on the wayside and stuff, he says that you hear the word of the rain, the good news, and you immediately get excited and you get full of joy, and it sprouts up. But then the cares and the lust of this world, the mark of the beast, comes in and chokes it out. You were an infant and you died because the cares and the lust of this world. No more is that going to happen. You're going to keep on trucking in the right direction. Nor an old man who does not complete his days. For the youth dies 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be lightly esteemed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and plant vineyards and eat their fruit. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For the days of my people are going to be as the days of a tree, and my chosen ones outlive the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth children for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of Yahuwah, and their offspring with them. And it shall be that before they call, I answer, and while they are still speaking, I hear. Wolf and lamb feed together. And that's more proof right there that he's calling everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a wolf. It don't matter what you've done before. You can come home now, and all you got to do is come home. That's the beauty of it. You ain't got to be so tall like a roller coaster to get on the ride. You just got to get on the ride. A lion eats straw as an ox, and dust is the snake's food. They shall do no evil nor destroy in all my set apart mountain, said Yahuwah. Now look, I want to show you this picture again. The triangle represents the mountain. There's a reason it's as above, so below. The star on their flag, okay? You see it inside of there right there? This is the hermit card, okay? When I first was led to the truth in all this, when he showed me, and this has to be acknowledged, when he showed me what the tree of the knowledge of good and evil really is, I made videos where I played a clip like I did in this video. I played a clip of a lady explaining all about the Kabbalah tree, the tree of life, they call it, but it's the tree of death, trust me. And she showed this picture of the hermit card, and she explains that the hexagram, the six-pointed star, is in the lamp, and he holds it level with his heart. Because look, just think about this. This is what comes down. This is what the enemy has done, and it comes down to who's a servant and who ain't. The hermit, that the enemy has caused the world to follow their own thoughts, their own desires, and their own desires. This is how you know this is true. It's called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The enemy has convinced you, the world, that you know what's good and you know what's evil. But there's only one good and there's only one evil. The Most High tells us what's good and what's evil. He tells us what he delights in and what to choose. This hermit, the enemy, it and the star, going back to that picture, okay? They had to make it the star on their flag as one triangle aiming up and one triangle aiming down and put it on it. Otherwise, their flag would have to look like this right here. You see, it would have to look like that. It would have to have a triangle above that one and like it's looking in the mirror, and that's what it is. But they didn't, for the sake of space on the flag or whatever you want to call it. It's just overlapped. But it's not. It's one aiming up and one aiming down. That's what as above, so below means. That's what the Baphomet is, because he's both male and female, okay? That star represents, okay, the one aiming up, that's the true mountain, okay? And that's the Most High. It represents, this is why the serpent said in the garden, he said, you will not surely die. Your eyes will become open and you'll be like the Most High. We can't be like the Most High. We're babies, especially them. We're babies. So it convinces you that you know what's good and what's evil. So you're the Most High now, okay? So it's the combining of one down and one up to make you think you're divine. Even though most of the world wouldn't say, well, I think I'm divine. It doesn't matter what you'll say, it's what you do. If you're living your life in your own way, you don't care about your commonly home, or you think it's over here, anywhere but any of the false directions. If you choose those, what you're really saying is that you're the Most High. You call the shots and you'll live because, you're going to do what you want to do. You make up the rules. That's what that star represents. And there's no two ways about it. So, and if we go to Revelations, chapter 13, okay, down here at the bottom is where it talks about the mark, right? And he in the beginning of this, he says, and I stood on the sand of the sea. Where have you heard sand of the sea? He told Abraham, your children, grandchildren, whatever, will be as the sand of the sea. That's why it says this right here. He says, I stood on the sand of the sea. Okay, this is the whole Bible is about the Most High. It's his story. It's about him, his children, and his house, the family, and everything intact. So everything we read in the Bible, it's about that. He's trying to get us to that, and the world is refusing and going in another direction. That's what that star represents. That's what the tree in the garden teaches. That's its doctrine. So down here, it's talking about who has the mark of the beast, right? And if you go, and you got to get context, if you go to the next chapter, chapter 14, verse 1, it says, and I looked and saw a lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written on their forehead. So if you ain't at the spot, at his set apart mountain, come eventually, one way or the other, if you don't delight in it, if you don't make Jerusalem a praise in the earth and come home and you accept your inheritance and you fight for it like Jacob, you're back in chapter 13, at the end of chapter 13, you have the mark of the beast, because the beast has, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil has convinced you to go the wrong way. That's why in chapter 14 here, it goes right to telling you that those who have the seal of the Most High on their forehead are those who will be standing on Mount Zion. They'll be keeping Shabbat. And coming back to Jerusalem is Shabbat. It's our rest. And we don't work on Shabbat because that's the way he chooses. That's what he delights in. He told us not to, and that's what we do. We obey because he's dad. We live in his house. If we don't want to get kicked out, we follow the rules, and we delight in the rules. We love the rules. We love the house. We love the Most High. And anything else is nonsense. And that's the difference. And that's why Messiah said he had to let the wheat and the tares grow up together. Otherwise, have to destroy them all. That's what he was talking about the new wine. He's calling you out. You have to come out. You have to choose your home. You have to choose him. You have to choose your brothers and your sisters. You have to choose to be a part of the family. And if you do, you'll be standing on Mount Zion come that day. And that is exactly what I've got to show anyone who's serious about this. It's all about Mount Zion, and it's so amazing. It'll blow your mind. You're going to love it. You've never found more satisfaction, more fulfillment, more joy than what you'll find when you get a load of what I'm talking about. But like I said, I'm not just going to put it on here for a bunch of people who don't really even care about their commonly home. It makes no sense, and this is so big and so monumental that, it's, I'm just not going to do it. I don't think it would be right of me to show you what I'm talking about unless I know you're serious, because, you know, there's going to be people that are going to try to catch me up like they always do, just like they did Messiah. They'll be there asking questions just so they can catch him by his toe, you know, and try to bring whatever you're doing down. And I'm not gonna cast my pearls before swine, if you know what I mean. But this pearl, it's magnificent. And I hope and pray that any of you, one of you, anybody, all of you, come and get you some. But that's all for tonight. I love you. And I hope this blessed you. And I pray that you come home and be blessed bless yourself in the earth and in the Most High of truth. Shalom, shalom. I'm out.